We're now in September. It's slowly starting to feel like fall here in Seattle, and so it's time for another market update. If you've watched any of these in the past, I always try my best to keep them at a very high level, and I just want in casual conversation share with you what is going on in our housing market. If you want data or specific information about your neighborhood, your city, or the area that you're looking to buy in, reach out and I'd love to have that conversation. So the market today is very challenging is probably the best word to put it, because there's things affecting both the sellers and the buyers. We just came out of August, and historically August is the slowest month of the year, and this year is no different. Lots of people were traveling, trying to squeeze in their last summer vacations, getting kids ready to go back to school. So the activity in terms of buying and selling houses has been down. And beyond the regular August slowdown, we're still facing with an incredible shortage of inventory. That's an issue that's nationwide. There's not a lot of homes that come on the market. Tons of sellers who would be sellers are locked into a 2 or 3% interest rate, and they do not want to lose that to move to a different home and upgrade into a much more expensive payment. And I don't blame them. You would have to be very hard pressed to have a good reason to need to sell in today's market if you also are a buyer on the other end. And then buyers are also dealing with interest rate. Over the last few weeks, we saw some headlines that interest rates have reached the highest point in over 28 years, right around 7.5%, plus or minus a little bit depending on your product and your particular situation. But that is much, much higher than what we're used to and we have seen over the last few years. And that has greatly affected the buyer's ability to purchase or afford a home in today's market. And so when we look at both of these things at the same time, the lack of inventory and the high interest rates, which basically prices a lot of buyers out or makes it much less affordable, we're back to just simple supply and demand. There's many things that affect the housing market, but it all boils down to number of homes that are for sale and the demand for those homes. So in this case, even though the interest rates and the affordability is a big challenge, because the supply of homes is so limited, the prices have continued to be steady or actually even appreciate. And in fact, data suggests that Q4 of last year is when we saw the bottom of the prices here in our Pacific Northwest region. And since January, prices have been continually, yet slowly, but they have been appreciating. And just a few weeks ago, I was at a Tom Ferry conference where over 4,000 real estate agents got together for 3 days. And one of the things that stood out that Tom talked about is that a deceleration of appreciation is not the same thing as depreciation. And so what does that mean? That means that the appreciation of homes has slowed down, but it is still appreciating. Granted, at a small percentage month over month, we're holding firm because of the low inventory, but the prices are not falling. And none of us have a crystal ball. We don't know when rates will come down, but they will come down. And now if we're sitting in the mid 7s and they come down to 6 or even 5%, I can almost guarantee that there's going to be a flood of buyers re-entering the market. And when they all come back and enter the market at the same time and compete for the same limited number of homes, the prices are going to blow up once again. And I do think we'll be back to multiple offer situations, bidding wars, and seeing prices that escalate well below asking price. So to try to sum it all up, all of these factors, how they affect our housing market is that the home prices are staying steady and or appreciating just slightly, and the number of transactions is significantly down. In fact, when we looked at Q2 numbers, depending on the area and the price point, the number of transactions of this year compared to last year was down anywhere from 50 to 67%. So again, depending on location and price point, anywhere from a third to half of the sales are happening this year compared to last year. So the number of transactions is down, prices are holding steady, and even though buyers are challenged with expensive payments, there's still some opportunities out there to get a good deal if you're in a position to buy and afford for the short term. If you find the right house, you should buy it, because I'm fairly confident that the prices will not come down anytime soon, if ever. And if and when the payment comes out, you'll have to pay a lot more for the same price. So I hope this was helpful. I know this was very high level, so if you have any questions, I always encourage you to reach out. And otherwise, I'll catch you next month.